you have to keep in mind like brand colors and angles and what's going to pop on the screen, what's going to look good on my website. One, they don't want to spend the money, and two, they don't like how they look. Well, hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. We're going to be talking today about how to get some great headshots for your business. Okay, so before you're like, and I'm out, just stay tuned here, because if you are a business owner of any kind, you have got to have some professional headshots done. It's just, let me just say this. It is 2023, friends. Okay. A photo shoot does not cost what it did a decade ago or even 5 years ago. And the level of professionalism that potential clients and clients expect is raised. Okay. So if you want to be viewed as a legitimate business, you have to do things legitimate businesses do. If you want to be taken seriously as a business owner, then you have to do things that professional people do, which includes professional photos. Okay. Listen, there are so many ways that business owners use professional shots, headshots. Okay. So think of like your profile picture on your Facebook page, your profile picture on your Instagram, your profile picture on your Pinterest. By the way, all three of those should match. Okay. So there's that. And I would dare to say Twitter as well. You need professional shots done if ever you're like a guest speaker for someone. You need professional shots if ever you are a speaker on somebody's podcast. If I was to call you up right now and say, hey, Linda, I want you to be a guest on the Jennifer Allwood show, I'm going to need you to have a headshot that I can also put on social media, that I can include, if we send something out to my email list, et cetera. Okay. We use professional headshots all the time on landing pages, on my website. And, we've got different tabs. If you go to jenniferallwood.com, there's, a tab for podcast and my book. And by the way, you need a professional picture for your book if you ever write one. So listen, before you're like, I don't want to listen to headshots because I don't love my wrinkles, or I don't love how aged I look, or I've got bags under my eyes, or I'm 20 pounds heavy. Listen. I get all of it. You still have to have professional photos. Okay. So I want you to listen. And see, the thing is, a lot of times the women who I coach will say the biggest reason they do not invest in headshots or a photo shoot, it's twofold. One, they don't want to spend the money. And two, they don't like how they look. And it's interesting to me because sometimes that I don't want to spend the money is actually costing you money. The reason that you're not being taken seriously, the reason you're not getting more sales, the reason people are not signing up for your coaching, the reason people are not sure about your consulting is because they're not sure how professional you are. So when somebody lands on your website for the first time, you've just got, what is the rule of thumb that Donald Miller says? You've got 7 seconds. 7 seconds for people to look and be like, meh, or to look and want to read further. But it's 7 seconds. And I would almost dare to say that in the year 2023, I wonder if that number is even lower, because the pandemic did something to our attention span. I don't know if we want to blame it on COVID itself. I don't know what, but our attention span went during the pandemic down to so much less than it was even prior to then. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, actually. But so if somebody's going to land on your Facebook page for the first time, it takes them just a couple of seconds to determine, do I like what I see well enough to hit the follow button? If they're landing on your website for the first time, it takes them just a few seconds to decide, do I want to scroll any further, or am I going to bounce? And so I don't care if you don't love how you look right now. You still have to have professional photos. I don't care if you don't want to spend the money. You don't have to have a photo shoot that costs thousands of dollars. You can find someone who can take professional photos of you who isn't your 13-year-old daughter taking it in portrait mode on your iPhone. And by the way, sometimes those pictures turn out great. And sometimes those pictures will work in a pinch. But you still need some professional photos. You can find someone who takes shots of seniors. You can find someone who on the weekends does family, wedding photography or something. It doesn't need to be thousands of dollars, but you do need to invest in the professionalism of your business. Okay. So that's what we're talking about today. I'm going to give you kind of my tips. And for those of you who are note takers, and I love that saying, note takers or history makers, I want you to get out some notes, because I'm going to give you like some really, what I think are really meaty ideas, guys. They're meaty. Like, let's go. Let's get this done. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I do. You can think I'm vain. You can think that I'm extra. You can think whatever. I don't care. The truth of the matter is I have great photos, and not because I look great, because I'm a good photographer. All right. So here's what I want you to know that I do when I'm going to have a professional photo shoot. Okay. First of all, you got to call the photographer and you've got to get something booked. All right. I always make sure that I am coinciding my professional photos with when I'm getting my hair done. Okay. For those of you who are watching me on YouTube right now and you think that I was born this blonde, I actually was. But for those of you who think that at 52, I'm still this blonde, I'm not. So, in case you were wondering. So, I have learned over the years, because what I would do is I would call my photographer, and I've had several of them. I can remember when my friend Amy used to do my photos, and I'd put her on the schedule, and then I'd realize, oh my gosh, that's like, when my roots are all grown out, and and so then I'd like move her, because I'm like, I gotta wait till after I get my hair done. Because the thing is, like, if you have a good photographer, and if you feel good about her talent and or how you look in professional photos, you'll respond to the camera in that way. Does that make sense? Like, because there's a little bit of like you got to kind of work it just a little. And so if you don't like the person that's taking your photos, you're not sure that she's going to be any good, you haven't had your hair or nails done, if those are things that you do in months and months and months, like, you're probably not going to love how the photos turn out. So I try to make sure that my hair has just been newly blonded. It takes a moment to get this Walmart blonde going. I try to make sure that my nails look halfway decent. And because, newsflash, also, I have fake nails. And in case that disappoints you, I'm sorry. It's going to be what it's going to be. And so I want to make sure that I don't have 2 nails missing and, they're all chipped up or whatever. So my hair is done, and my nails are done, and you're going to get yourself a good photographer. Okay. Because the thing is, when you look good in the shots and you have a good photographer, it's going to make you feel different as a business owner. It's going to make you, in the words of my 15-year-old daughter, feel like a baddie. I remember the first time Ava said that, Mom, you look like a baddie. And I'm like, wait, is a baddie actually a goodie, or is a baddie a baddie? I guess, does a baddie mean good, or does a baddie mean bad? She's like, a baddie means good. I'm like, okay, got it. So you want to look and feel like a baddie. Okay. And you want other people to look at you like the professional that that either you are or are capable of being. And this isn't a fake it until you make it. Okay. I don't like that saying. I hate that saying. But this is a putting your best foot forward type of instruction. Okay. So here's things that I do. I always look at other things, other people for inspiration on new ways to do photos. Because there's sometimes when I'll see people's headshots and I'll think to myself, okay, that's beautiful, but like, that's not me. And usually the reason why I feel like that's not me is this. A lot of times I'll look at somebody else's photos and I'll think, okay, those are gorgeous, but they feel stuffy to me. And I'm not stuffy. If you are watching me on YouTube right now, you can see that I am in a sports bra with a pink workout gear over top of. Okay. So that's kind of my jam. And so I want my pictures to look good, but I also want it to feel like me. Does that make sense? And so you can do stuff like go to Pinterest and you can literally do a search. Remember that Pinterest is a search engine. So do a search for professional headshots, or just headshots, or female business owner headshots, something like that. And create a board for your photographer, or just do some screenshots when you're on your phone and you're just scrolling. Okay. So this will happen, especially on Instagram. I'll be on Instagram and I'll be like, oh, I like that lady's photos. Let me give you an example. So I just had Amber Deary here in Kansas City come do my pictures again. She's done them for, I would say, the last 4 times. Amber's the one, if you guys remember, when I was in that magazine called Her Life here in Kansas City, it was in the height of the pandemic. It was in the height of me losing my hair. Do you remember how that's when Salon de Paul made me my hair extensions, because my hair was like all falling out and I had to have good headshots. And I, for both the cover of a magazine, because they were talking about my book, Fear is Not the Boss of You, that one right over there. But all my hair had fallen out. And so anyway, got my extensions. Amber was the photographer that the Her Life magazine like assigned to me. And then I had my makeup done professionally by Ashley Bax. She owns a company called Hello Lovely, but she's the makeup artist that Her Life magazine used. So those are still my go-to girls. The first time we worked together was 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been, using them ever since. And so I will take pictures, or not take pictures, I'll take screenshots and I'll give them to Amber, and I'll be like, I like this. I'll save a whole folder on my phone of pictures that I've seen on Pinterest or pictures that I've been just scrolling on the gram and seen things, and I'll make sure that I give them to her. That way, it's a reminder to me of like outfits I like, positions I like, angles I like, or just the feel of things that I like. And I think that that's helpful for her. And I think that it's helpful for me. Okay. So come up with just some, ideas, just like a launching pad. Those of you that are super creative, like this is a fun time for you to kind of get creative. And just remember that as you're looking at different things, you want your photographer to make sure that the shots are stunning, of course, but to also make sure that you feel comfortable and that you feel that you look like you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. So you're going to do that in advance. You're also going to come up with outfits well in advance. Now, this is possibly going to be a new idea for some of you, okay? But here's the truth. I don't love doing photo shoots. I mean, I got to make sure that I cut out the donuts and the mashed potatoes for a couple of weeks. There's a lot of other things that I do to prepare. I'm going to tell you about in a second. I make sure my nails are done. I'm getting a spray tan, all those things. So it's a little bit of effort. It's a little bit of effort. So what I have decided is this: if I am going to take time out of my schedule, because it's usually, I usually book like 4 to 5 hours out of a day to have a photo shoot. And you don't have to do that, but this is what I do. I make sure that I can get 4 to 6 outfit changes out of that session. And so that means things like, having one outfit that's like a t-shirt and jeans and a belt, some cute shoes, but then putting on a jacket, switching out the jewelry. I try to make sure that I'm intentional leading up to the photo shoot about laying out some outfits. Okay. So 4 to 6 outfit changes is what I go for. That's why it takes a little bit of time. And I try to lay those out in advance. A lot of times Ava will help me prep those. And if she's home, she likes to do the photo shoots with me. She helps me in between. So I'll put like all of my outfits on a hanger with the jewelry. But I always try to make sure too, that my colors stay on brand. And so Team Allwood's brand right now, my brand is mostly blue, pink. We used to do a lot of hot pink. Now we do a lot of blush, gold and white. Like that's kind of the color palette. If you go to jenniferallwood.com, you're going to see that. If you go to betterwayprogram.com, you're going to see that. If you go to creatorsinnercircle.com, you're going to see that. And so I'll try to have those colors in outfits in advance. Now, this is probably one of those things that you're going to listen to me and you're like, okay, what? what do you do? Okay. Here's what I want you to know. The clothes that I perhaps wear in real life, that I wore to church yesterday, that I went on a date with Jason on Friday, those clothes are not always the same clothes that you're going to see me on a Zoom call, that you're going to see me coaching in, you're going to see me on YouTube, or you're going to see me in a photo shoot. And I know that may be a hard thing for you to wrap your head around. You're going, okay, wait, are you saying that you buy specific outfits that you're only going to use for photos and coaching? Yes. Yes is the answer to that. The majority of the time when I'm sitting coaching, I have business on the top and I have party on the bottom. So right now I'm wearing running shorts. And because I don't have any business meetings today, it's a Monday. I don't put any meetings on my calendars on Mondays. I have a prayer meeting and I have, I'm recording this podcast. But so right now I've got party on the bottom and party on the top. But on a normal day, you're going to see me wearing joggers on the bottom, shorts on the bottom, whatever, and a business shirt on top. I like to be comfortable. I have been known to do webinars with pajama bottoms on the bottom if they're in the evening and a cute shirt on top. So I'm still looking professional. And a lot of times what looks good on camera from this angle that Zoom or Easton recording right now for the YouTubes, often it doesn't translate to also something that I would love to wear or look good in person. Does that make sense? Because when you're getting your pictures done and when you're getting, you're recording things, you have to keep in mind like brand colors and angles and what's going to pop on the screen, what's going to look good on my website, but that's not always what I want to wear in real life. So I will usually have to order some accessories or some additional pieces or some jackets or some shirts for layering or whatever in advance of a photo shoot. Because like I knew on this photo shoot, I needed to make sure I had 4 to 6 outfits in light blue, navy, light blush pink, white, and gold. And, you know, I just had a photo shoot 4 months ago with those same colors. I don't want to wear the same 4 things because then what's the point of doing a new photo shoot? Does that make sense? So I will go a lot of times to like, is it called Vicky or is it VC? VICI.com. I'll get pieces from them. I'll go to Red Dress Boutique. I'll go to some of the boutiques that I follow of the women that are in my coaching group. And I'll pick up pieces that I know that the color is good to stay on brand during a photo shoot. Things that I can layer with jackets I already have upstairs, things that I can put on with a pair of jeans, etc. So I'm telling you this because it's important to lay out your outfits well in advance so that if you also need to quickly grab, you know, a pair of shoes in a nude color for the photo shoot, that you have time to do that. I also get things off Amazon because I know that sometimes the outfits I'm wearing, like I said, for the photo shoot may not be ones that I want to spend a lot of money on because I wear them in real life. I hope that makes sense. So I order those in advance. And then I do have, you know, 2 closets, not literally, but one is for my real clothes and the others is for work clothes that I use on Zoom calls, that I use for photo sessions. Okay. So I do try to do new photos 2 to 4 times a year. It really depends. It depends on things like what's going on in life. You know, 2 years ago, right now, Jason was recovering from his bicycling accident. And so, you know, I didn't do any pictures that summer. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I had done them before his accident because I was getting ready to turn 50. I take that back. But, you know, during busier times, we just don't. I don't take a lot of pictures in the winter because we can't get outside, but I do try to do new photos 2 to 4 times a year. If you've never done photos before, then just do them, just do once, just get them on the books for the first time. Okay. Like I said, I do pencil out a whole half day with nothing else on my calendar. Turns out that smiling is tiring. Like, can I just say I'm sorry to every model that I've ever judged for thinking, how hard can it be? It's harder than it looks. It's harder than it looks. Okay. So I book my photographer. I make sure that my hair has been, you know, turned back into Walmart blonde. My dark roots are looking good. My eyebrows are looking right. And then I usually try to get a spray tan if it's in a season where I'm feeling pale. I always, for some reason, do early spring photos. And usually, you know, we're coming off the winter months and I'm pasty. So I go get a spray tan. You can judge me if you want. I literally do not care. There are some people that are going to go all natural. I am not one of those women. Let me tell you just a 5-second story. My grandmother, God bless her soul, my grandma Beeson, my mom's mom, the day that she passed away, the family is in the hospital with grandma. And this is years ago. I was pregnant with Ava. So this is 16 years ago. And I kid you not, my grandma's been in the hospital for several days. We know that this is the end. My grandmother sits up in the hospital bed, applies her lipstick, which is like a pinky red color, lays down, passes away. I kid you not. This is my heritage, friends. We are in my lineage. Me, my mom, my daughter, my grandma. We are a little extra. We're a little bougie. We don't leave the house without our makeup and hair done. We just don't. So you do you. And if you're like, I don't want to get my nails and hair done, then don't. But I do. And if you're like me, then you get it done too. Okay. So I get a spray tan if I'm pale. And then I have, like I said, Ashley Bax from Hello Lovely. She comes and does my makeup. I highly suggest somebody does your makeup for you. It's going to make you feel like a rock star. When you feel like a rock star, you will act like a rock star. When you act like a rock star, other people will view you as a rock star. It is a domino effect. It just is. Okay. Here's what you need to know going into the day that you have your photos done. So that was all kind of leading up to it. So I want you to give your photographer a list of shots that you really need. Because the thing is, if they don't know what you're using them for, because Amber is not in the online space, like she's not, a business coach, an influencer, any of those things. So she's not following other people like I do. So she doesn't probably see what I see in terms of what I need. So we always make sure that we give her a list of shots. We need a close up for a headshot. We need this where I'm clear off to the side. We need this for that. I actually have a whole list of like the headshot list that I, always ask her for. If you guys want to get that, you can go to jenniferallwood.com/camera ready. It's part of a whole 3-part video series that I have. You can totally have for free. It's going to help you to get more confident in your videos and your headshots. So go to that. It'll have the list of the headshots. It's jenniferallwood.com/camera ready. But we make sure she takes a variety. Did I just say that weird? Variety. I think I said variety. Almost like that movie Vivarium. That's what it sounded like. Have you seen that movie? So bizarre. 0 out of 10 recommend. Don't watch. Didn't love it. Okay, there's that. So we give her the list of the shots. I usually try to get it to her prior to her being here, just so she can wrap her head around, what we're going to do. If I'm like, what I want to do, like for my 50th birthday, for instance, we went to a road. Okay. So we live on a golf course and there's like a road that's, going adjacent to the golf course. There's not a ton of traffic. And I told her I was wearing a bright red jumpsuit. It was off the shoulder. It was bougie. I looked hot at 50. I was 20 pounds lighter than I am today. God bless it. So I told her I wanted to like wear that and sit like in the middle of a road. And she was like, okay, so she can wrap her head around it before we go. We always do a ton of horizontal shots and vertical, but a lot of the horizontal shots, we always ask her to do a ton of like solid color in the background so that we can use those on my website. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go to betterwayprogram.com. It's like my waitlist page, but you'll see how I'm off to the side. In order to do that, we usually do those inside. And we usually, by the way, do photos in late afternoon because the lighting in our house is better than coming in from the golf course, from that side of the house. And so we will, in our formal living room where nobody sits anyway, we will move everything towards the window. And there's just one solid wall where, light's still coming in, shining in that direction, but not right on me. It's a gray wall, which can really come off as looking white. And so she will take tons of pictures, Amber, where I'm off to the side. And then there's a whole lot of the wall for space. And then my team takes those and uses those. We like to do mostly indoors, but some outdoors. We do some on the front steps. We go over to my neighbor's house. They have like really cool stone stairs leading down to their pool. So we'll go down to that quite frequently and take some pictures there because the lighting is really good. If you don't know, you never want to do pictures where it's like lights just glaring on you, in the middle of summer, especially. You don't want that full light. So we'll try to do some indoors, some outdoors. We try to get some of me typing, some of me on my phone. We've done some before with me sitting in a chair, crisscross applesauce, reading my Bible, like things that I would do when nobody's around anyway. We've done some with me sitting on the kitchen counter, sitting at chairs in the kitchen counter. We've done some with Jason and I, the kids and I, the dogs and I. So we try to get a really, really good variety. And then we also try to do some with like crazy expressions. So like me gasping. If you're watching me on YouTube, I'm going to show you. So gasping, pointing, what the heck, angry, those sorts of positions, if you will. And if you look at my YouTube channel right now, you'll see how the team and Easton uses them. So Easton will take one of those photos and he'll use it as a thumbnail with the words, with the, the topic of this particular podcast that we're putting on YouTube. And he makes the thumbnail out of those. So I know that you're going to feel like a weirdo because I always do too, gasping, pointing, laughing, whatever, but a good photographer is going to make you feel very comfortable doing that. And a good photographer, by the way, she's going to make you look very professional, but also make sure that you totally feel like you. So if you're like, I never would go sit in the middle of a road, that feels so lame to me, don't do that. If you're like, I only want pictures at my desk, do that. By the way, I rarely ever do pictures at my desk. Do you want to know why? Because right now my desk is a hot stinking mess. I've got electrolytes that I'm drinking. I've got coffee that I'm drinking. I have my cell phone right here. I've got notes for my prayer call in a few minutes. I've got my day planner. I've got a prescription I need to refill. I have a bag of candy that I'm sending to my nephew, like all sitting right here. And I just don't have it in me to like clean up my messy desk for photos. I just don't. So we don't take them here. So we don't take them here. Okay. I want you to get your face in front of your audience. It's important for connection. It's important for, I think, business growth and your sales. People want to know who you are, especially if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you have a membership group. But a business of any kind has got to have some professional photos taken. What if you get like up for an award? Your business comes up for an award. I'm thinking of my friend Chrissy Huff right now, who in Kansas City, she owns RE, Restoration Emporium. Her business is always nominated for awards. She has to have photos of her. What if somebody asks you to like speak at their online summit and you have no headshot to submit to them? Then you're caught with your pants down and you're going to have to scramble to get one, right? There's going to be 10 other, incredible speakers who have their professional headshots. And then there's going to be you, whose 14-year-old took an iPhone pic of you. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Get some done. Okie dokie. Okay. Was this helpful today? If it was, if you're on YouTube, would you put it in the comments? Let me know if this was helpful for you. And I do have that resource for you. It's a 3-part video series. It's got some worksheets. It's going to help you to get more confident with your video and your headshots. And it's got my headshot list. Don't forget that. So go to jenniferallwood.com/camera ready, and you can download that for free. Hope that this was helpful today. God bless you guys. It's my honor to always be here. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I'm done. I'm done.